So let's go and create the interface first. Dependency container. Dependency container. Okay. Okay. So first method we're going to be void init. It's going to take the list of service details that we just created. Services and beans, and also object instantiation service, like that. And also it will throw what we need to create it first. Already initialized exception, extends runtime exception, like that. Create constructor overrides. Okay. So I have one more void. Reload service service details, but we'll have to make that generic. So sorry, make it like that. Service details from a given type. Service details boolean reload dependent services. So this is the thing that I was talking about, why we need those dependent services. Now you know why it will be easier when we reload this service to reload all of its dependent services as well, and all of those theirs dependent services as well. Okay, so let's have again t reload so we're getting like that. Okay, again t service boolean reload dependent services. Okay. T get service plus like that, or service type. Again, generic service details from T get service details. Dot service type. So what else? List of service details. Get services by annotation. So plus extends annotation. Annotation type. We'll have also a way for getting all services. So list service details, get all services and beans, or just like that. Okay. So I think those are the methods that we're going to aim to implement in that final part. Also, there's one annotation that we need to also create. Let's call it start up annotation policy runtime target element type method. Okay. Now let's go and create the instance of that dependency container, which is going to always be in the Magic container, and it's going to be public because the client needs to access it. So public static final dependency container like so. Dependency container equals new, and now I have to create the implementation. Okay. MagicInjector equals new dependency container implementation. Okay. Also, now we need to say here dependency container.init services and beans and object instantiation service like that. Okay. And we're also going to have one private void run startup method. But that is like, okay, let me just we're going to implement that a bit later, but basically we're going to just call this run static void run startup method startup class. So basically, by doing this, we are actually done with the startup logic. I would actually suggest that we remove those, I mean, not remove, but move them into separate methods. That would be great, but in this video, we'll just leave it like that because it's not that big and it doesn't look bad, so we'll leave it like that. Okay. So, about the dependency container implementation, well, let's start doing it. Okay, so let's have one private boolean is init public dependency container implementation. This is init equals false, or okay, it's false by default, but I just set it like that to be sure. Okay, this is if this is init, thrown already initialize exception. Already like that. Dependency container already initialized. Okay. And finally, we're going to set this init equals true, like that. Okay. So let's have one right here, private list of service details, services, yeah, let's call it services and beans. And let's have one more private object instantiation service, like so. And by initting, we're just going to set this services and beans equals services and beans, and this instantiation service as well. Okay. So let's see. Here we can just say return collections and modifiable list. This services and beans. We're done with that. Get all services that wants an object. I guess we'll have to map them. So yeah. So return this services and beans stream map service details dot get instance tourist. We can convert that, I guess. Okay, so we're done with that as well. Get services by annotation. Okay, shouldn't be that hard. So return this services and beans string filter service details get annotation type equals annotation type tourist. Yeah. Get service details by given type. So first we can say here get service details service type. Use local variable like that, but not like that. And if service details is different than no, return service details dot get instance, otherwise return no. Okay, so we're done with that. Now let's create this implementation. So this services and beans stream filter service details no, service type is assignable from service details get service type. Find first or else no, and it's not working because I need to cast it. So first I have forgotten to sort of, this should be T. Okay, let's go back here. Oh, IoC Container implementation. Okay. So it needs T, we're getting it a capture, so no way we'll need to cast that, no other way. Okay, so press warnings unchecked. Okay, sometimes you need to do it. Okay, basically it's not really unchecked because we're checking if the service type is assignable from the type of the given service. So yeah, it should be okay. Okay, so what's left here is to revolve these services. So okay, let's go with first with I guess that one. So return this remote service, and boolean raw dependent services by default is false. Okay. So here we'll need to say this get service details, service get class. Basically we'll get the service details and then we'll pass it to that overload here. So service details of T. That's very stupid because that's not cool, but I guess we'll have to cast it as well. Okay. So if service details actually is no, then return no, which should never happen. I mean, if the client's done something wrong, yes, it might happen, but in a normal case should never be the case. Okay, so now let's pass it to the other method, so this reload service details, and then return service details get instance, because reloading this, which we'll see now what it will do, will basically replace the instance of this service, so we can just call the method then. Okay. Also we can suppress warnings here like that. Sorry, not here, here. Okay. Okay, so I think we came to basically the most, probably the hardest method in the whole service. So let's see here. So here we need to check basically if the service details probably is an instance of a bean or again a normal service details. Okay, but before that we need to actually call the pre-destroy method that we actually, if you think about it, we haven't yet touched it almost at all. So this instantiation service destroy instance service details. If you remember, in that object, in that instantiation service, we created this method that will find the post pre-destroy method. If it's not no, it will call it, and then we will set the instance to no. Okay. Going back here, we need now to handle the new instantiation. So let's make a new method for this, private void handle reload, and then we have service details like this, I guess. Okay, so we'll have this handle reload service details, and then we'll have if reload dependent services is true, then we'll have to say service details get dependent services, iterate those, and call this reload dependent services reload dependent services. Yeah, it's always true. Will not always be true, so don't worry about that. Okay, so yeah, we're getting into a sort of recursion, but that's fine. Okay, So handle revolt. Now we need to do one thing that is really not it's not good practice, but sometimes we need to use it. So is service details instance of service bean details, and also have else for that. So if it's a service bean instance, we'll call this instantiation service create bean instance service details. Okay. Yeah, we're going to cast it, of course. Otherwise, now we'll need to again collect the dependency. So let's create another method for that. So object array collect dependencies for service details like that. So let's have let it be, let's see. So object array dependency instances equals new object array service details gets target constructor gets parameter, sorry, get parameters count, like that. Okay. So now we need to basically say for I equals I less than again service details get target constructor get parameter. Actually, no, sorry about that. Service details get target constructor get parameter types. We'll need that multiple times, so like that. Here we can say parameter types dot length, and here we can say parameter types dot length again. And then inside the loop we can say dependency instances from I equals this get service parameter types from I return dependency instances. Okay, so that should do it, hopefully. So we can say now this instantiation service create instance from service details and this collect dependencies for that service details. Okay, so with that I think that we should be ready with the dependency container. It seems for me that it should work fine. Okay, so let's test it and see. Oh yeah, also here we need to say something like that. So dependency container get service get service from startup class, introduce that to a variable, or maybe get service details. Okay, get service details. Like that. Okay. So now we need to basically get a method with 0 parameters and return type void. If you remember, we already did that, but we're not going to reuse the code. We're just going to type it ourselves again. Type it again. So get service type, get declared get declared methods. So here it is. Let's iterate that. If the declared method get parameters count if it's different than 0, or I mean, yeah, if it's different than 0, or one of the following. So declare method get return type equals void class. Oh, sorry, actually, if it's different than void, right? No, sorry, I'm getting kind of confused now. Declare method get return type equals void class. So yeah, it should be different, yeah. So if it's different, then continue. Okay. So otherwise, declare method set accessible true. Also, we need to return it. Set accessible true, and then actually one more thing here. Let's just do it like that. So, or not declare method is annotation present start up class, then you can continue like that. Okay, otherwise declare method set accessible true, declare method that invoke service details get instance, so we try catch like so. Or we can just throw new runtime exception with that. Okay. So I guess let's just add one startup method and see if it's really working. Startup public void app start. Cout I should be at last position. Let's run and let's see. Okay, so yeah, it's executed lastly, which is great. I guess let's test if those revolt stuff works. So let's see what was the hierarchy here. So service 2 was relying on service 1. So now we can go to service 1 and let's say post construct public void on init. So print creating service 1 and go to service 2 and just print creating service 2. Okay, so doing it like that, we're getting creating service 1, creating service 2. Okay, so if you go here and in the upstart and we say dependency container revolt dependency container get service, and that service is test service 1.class. Okay, so if you reload it, let's see what happens. Nothing for now. Okay. This reload false. Okay, reload. I guess we need to follow that to see what's going on exactly. Let's go to revolt here. Let's. Nope. Okay, so it's some kind of somehow not getting here. Okay. Alright, so F7. Okay, I get. We're not calling the proper. Yeah, we're calling this method instead of that one. So service detail, because this one is accepting everything basically. So we're not targeting the right method. So revolt service details. Now going here, we should be targeting. Yeah. So let's try it again. Okay, creating service 1. So what happens now if we actually say like that, say true here? Now we should be also reloading service 2 because service 2 relies on service 1. So let's see if that's the case here. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, works like charm. All right, so what else can we test here? We can try to reload. So let's see, where was it? We had other service, I think was a bean. Yep. So let's just say public other service, print creating other service bean. Okay, so running it like that, creating other service bean. Okay, so actually how many services rely on that? I think that this one also, yeah, other service, yeah. So basically let's print here creating main class to be sure. So instead of reloading this, we can now reload other service contract. That way we're also going to test that if searching by interfaces will give us the implementation. So let's see. Also, let's set it to false first. Okay, so creating other service bean is called 2 times, which is properly. Now if we set this to true, we should get also creating main class as well, because main class relies on this service. So let's see if that's the case. Creating main class, yeah. So now with that being said, I think the application is finally completed. We did all those 5 subtasks. Everything seems to work fine. One last thing that's left to do is to actually package the application. So let's go ahead and do that. First, let's get rid of those utility classes. Let's go here. Let's remove those imports that we don't need anymore. We don't need public void static main, public static void main, sorry. Okay, we don't need that as well. Okay, some more useless. Are we using this? We don't need that service annotation. Okay, so seems more clean now. Also, going into POM XML, we don't no longer need this plugin. Well, I'll open Notepad like that and I'll just paste it here because, sorry. Let me just uncomment it first and then cut it like that. Let's paste that here because I'm going to need it soon. Okay, so with that being said, let's remove all of this. And why doesn't this let me? Okay, whatever. What about that? Okay, so let's now run Maven Package. Okay, so coming here, now we have it finally, MagicInjector 1.0. let's just copy that and paste it on desktop. And let's come here, let's start a new project so we can test it. Java 11, cool, com demo up. Just rename that like that. Okay, that's cool. New window. Okay, enable to import. Okay, so let's come here, let's create some packages, com demo app. Let's create main class, maybe, I don't know. Let's have one services package. Okay, so this main class is going to be, sorry, let's maybe first let's change the Java version, equals 10, like that. Go here, change that to 11. Go to dependencies, add new dependency. So com demo, it was MagicInjector, if I recall right, version 1. Also we need to create here a directory called lib. We need to copy the file, paste it in the lib folder. Scope system, system path is going to be base dir lib MagicInjector. Okay, so now we should have it imported. Yep, so here it is. Great, so let's go here, let's annotate this with service. And now let's create, I don't know, let's go in the internet and let's search for model mapper Maven, for example. So copy that, go to here, add this dependency like that. So let's create new folder, config bin config. That's also service. Public model mapper, return new model mapper bin, like so. So let's go to services and create new, let's call it user service, for example. If we have like, I don't know, public list of string get user names. Yeah. We're going to have like row service as well. List of string get all rows. Interface. Okay, so that's pretty much cool. Let's I don't know, let's create implementations, user service implementation, user service that is going to be a service. Also is going to rely on private file on model mapper, like so. This is going to be auto-wired, although we don't need it to be auto-wired. Get usernames will return list of A, B, C. Okay. yeah, we're not going to use model mapper, we just wanted to be injected so we know that our services are working properly. Let's go and create implementation for role service. Implementation implements role service. That's also service. Return list of admin and worker, for example. And also the user service is going to rely on role service because that's usually the case. Okay, so let's just say here created user service, just to know that we created it successfully. So here we're going to have public void main method, which is going to be startup annotated. And also we're going to have here private final user service. We're also going to have private final model mapper, and we're going to have as well private final role service. Okay, application was created successfully, like that. Also, we can access the dependency container by saying MagicInjector.dependency container, like that. Yeah. So let's try and run that. I wrote a bunch of things. Also, yeah, MagicInjector.run, and we need to specify the main class, like that. Let's see. Okay, so seems like everything is working great. Okay, so let's go to POM.xml, one last test to see how the jar file works. So let's go to plugins. Let's add this plugin for creating a executable jar. Let's call it com-demo app.main class. Okay, that, and now let's go to terminal and let's run Maven Package. Okay, so app1.jar, great. So let me get that. Let's go here. Now let's extract it and let's see what we got inside. So as you can see, we have basically this jar file is not going to run because we don't have the model mapper. We're going to get class not found exception. So we need to say Maven fat jar. So fat jar actually with main class. Okay, so I just stopped the video because I took too long to find the proper plugin, but basically that's a Maven shape plugin. You can find it on internet. I found it on Stack Overflow. So okay, so I'll just go ahead and copy that right here on that place, and I'll just specify my package here. So com-demo app main class, like that. So removing that and calling Maven Package again should do the job. App1. So if I extract this again, you can see that now we have org model mapper as well. But what we don't have is actually our library, our MagicInjector. Why don't we have it? Because we are using here scope system, and scope system is not included in the Maven shade. So that's not a big of a deal. We'll just we'll just do it manually. So this is copy that folder here, and that's all. Now we need to just create a new jar file, which is simple as that. Create a new zip and name it to jar. And there it is. So let's open the PowerShell or CMD, whatever, and call java jar app-1.jar and see. Okay, so we've got a little bit of illegal reflection. That's probably because I'm not using I didn't make the proper jar file, but as you can see, created user service and application was created successfully, which is great. So our implementation also works on jar files. We haven't broken anything, so that's great. So that is all for this tutorial. As I said, I'm going to upload the code to GitHub. Also, I'm going to add comments to each function that that I've made, so it will be a little easier to understand if you're reading this. Also, if you have any questions or suggestions, you can comment down below. I'll be actually glad to see other people's opinion about that application. Also, you can subscribe if you want. I have started creating more and more programming videos lately, and I think I'll keep doing that because I really enjoy it. So yeah, with that being said, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.